All right. I finally managed to listen to Vijay Mallya's podcast on Raj Shamani's channel. Yeah. A staggering 4 hours, 18 minutes podcast. Now, I'm aware that you'll be like, hey, who the hell wants to listen to you right now? We have already listened to it. Dhruv Rathee with 11 million views already gave his analysis. Okay. I decided that I was not going to ask any research team. I was not going to read the summary. I was not going to listen to it at a very fast pace. I was going to listen to it, the whole thing at my pace, and genuinely share my thoughts only if I like the podcast. And guess what? I loved the podcast. The podcast is highly recommended to my students or my followers, or I recommend it. It's up to you. You want to listen to it or not. You'll not believe. Every day when I used to go to the gym, I used to do these light workouts. I used to listen to it. There are some podcasts where you listen to it and you get bored and then you switch over to listening to music. But for me, when I was listening to this podcast, whenever I was in the gym, I continued listening to it without having to stop. That much I liked it. Now, you'll be like, what is so great about it? If you are a student of personal branding, of business, of entrepreneurship, of learning and wanting to educate yourself, man, Vijay Mallya is a genius. Yes, he's a bad guy. Yes, he's a chore. Yes, he's a scammer, a fraudster, whatever name you want to give him. But man, he has done something good. Something. Okay. Even a scammer, even a fraudster has a level of intelligence where you can learn something. So I approached this as from a student perspective. And remember this, you're talking of a billionaire. Yes, his father was rich, but he quadrupled or, he made 5 times, 10 times, whatever, his father's business. So he does have something worthwhile to share. And where branding and marketing is concerned, Vijay Mallya is a bloody genius. Whether you agree, disagree, I don't care. But he's a genius. He ran an organization which was in billions. So he does offer something of value. So I took that approach. And boy, did I enjoy it. But yeah, I did have some irritating points and controversies and drawbacks of the podcast, which I'll share with you. So this is what it is. Feel free, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. So this is me without referring the internet, giving you my notes. First one, I'll go as per the sequence. Now, the whole interview is, after 9 years of silence, after he ran away from India, Vijay Mallya, who was known as the King of Good Times, which was actually the branding for Kingfisher. Later on, he became the poster child. He gave, he opened up and gave his side of the story. There's one side, there's the other side, and then there's the real side. So real side is where you have to use your mind and think. So he gave it on 5th June 2025. 4 hours, 18 minutes, 25 million views. That clearly shows there's a lot of interest in him. YouTuber Dhruv Rathee, who's another guy who I listen to, he spoke about it. He gave his views. It got 11 million views. Okay. And many people from there moved on to checking this interview. So Vijay Mallya gave his side of the story. He spoke about Kingfisher Airlines. He spoke on the legal troubles and what has he been doing in India and whether or not he'll come back to India. Now, what did he say? The summary. Okay. One narrative or the theme of the whole interview was, like he said, no, I'm not a chore. The whole interview is nothing but a PR exercise to show I am innocent. I have been hounded by the legacy media. I've been falsely accused. It is the bad politicians. It is the bad legacy media. It is, he doesn't take the name of Arnab Goswami, but he says that loud shouting YouTuber, whatever, presenter. Okay. So he shows it's me against them. He spoke on his business empire, Kingfisher Airlines. The story is very interesting. United Breweries, United Spirits Company. He talks of the IPL Royal Challengers Bangalore. He actually wanted to buy 3-4 teams. That was shocking. Formula One team Force India. He spoke on the football clubs Mohun Bagan and East Bengal. And he also gave a very interesting story about Berger Paints, which he bought for hundreds of millions and sold it for a very big fat profit. Unbelievable. There's a lot to learn. If you're a management student, if you're a business studies student, you need to listen to it. Now, throughout the video, you'd keep hearing figures like 6,000 crores and 14,000 crores. And this crow, eagle, pigeon, the Indian currency was very confusing to me. So what I did is, I sat down, I translated it into US dollars, making it easy. So in simple dummy terms, if I were to explain to a simple person, Vijay Mallya he owed the banks $700 million. 700 million. Okay. He claims he paid double, 1.6 billion. Okay. So it's double plus a little bit extra, quite extra. All right. But now the problem is the banks claim, sorry, you have paid us this, but you still owe us another 800 million. That's close to another 1 billion more. So this is the point of contention between both the sides. So who do you trust? That I leave it up to you. All right. The next point, which is controversial that he discussed, he claims that he never ran away from India. He flew out of India because he had a booking which was done in advance for some sports governing body or some meeting. And then he claims that the very next day, by some coincidence, the Supreme Court decided to have the ruling and they declared, no, he cannot leave the country. I mean, for me, that part of the story was, come on, man, stop giving me bullshit. Because if there is a court case, you definitely get informed about it much in advance. At least his legal team would have. So I found that massive loophole in the story. So he left on 2nd March 2016. The hearing was the following day, apparently. And then he claims, oh, I couldn't come back because they revoked my passport. All right. So that's he said, she said. Then throughout the video also, this is another thing which was kind of irritating, which I didn't expect him to also state. Every success, he takes credit for it. The Kingfisher Airlines, the making the alcohol brand #1, Berger Paints, everything is me, I did all the good things. But all the failures, he didn't do it. It is the economic conditions, it is the politicians, it is the political climate. So I was like, come on, man, at least take responsibility for it. He didn't take responsibility throughout the podcast. And he claims that Kingfisher, the reason why it suffered the demise that it did is because of this guy, Arun Jaitley, who's a finance minister at that time. And he claims he gave him a word and said, no, don't downsize during the financial crisis. Don't downsize. I will support you. Now, here's the problem. The finance minister is dead. He is no longer there. So there's no way to verify what he said. Although he claimed that he never met up with him and he never discussed, obviously politics. Okay. So once again, he said, she said. And critics point out that the reason why Vijay Mallya suffered the demise, not him, Kingfisher, is because he bought a cheaper airline, Air Deccan, which created even more problems. So nowhere does Vijay Mallya take responsibility for any of the failures. He blames it on everyone else, which I found like, come on, man. You take credit for the success, you take credit for the failures. So now comes the part which the questions I was asking. All right. I felt this whole exercise was a PR stunt to show I'm a nice guy, I'm a good guy, and for him to get back at all these critics. That's what I felt. Because if he genuinely wanted to clear his name, he should have got an investigative journalist who had enough and more facts. See, Raj did a spectacular job. Okay, Raj, what's his name? Shamani. Along with his research team, they dug up so many facts. I mean, to summarize all of them, years and years into questions, I have to commend the guy. You really have to spend a lot of time and maybe a company to do the research. So I admire him. But if he really wanted to prove his innocence and challenge anyone, he should have taken an investigative journalist, which I don't think he would ever, because the investigative journalist and their team would have proof and they could corner him. That's number one. So I don't think Vijay Mallya at this age of his life, he wanted that drama. That's number one. Second one is, nowhere does he accept any mistake. Nowhere does he take the blame for the failure explicitly. Okay. He says, maybe I should have, maybe that. Okay. Then it's always a he said, she said. It's a legacy media. It's a fake news. It's a fake narrative. So once again, it's like, so that means you're a nice guy. Can you imagine Vijay Mallya, a billionaire, not having a single drawback? Nowhere in the interview was there a single drawback. I guess Raj didn't want to piss him off or irritate him. So, I don't expect him to admit, I'm a womanizer, I've used weed, I took drugs, I was bribing the politicians. Although he didn't admit explicitly. He said, when he asked him, did you give anyone under the table? Raj asked him, he said, I will not deny it, I will not confirm it, use your imagination. So Vijay Mallya tried to portray a very clean image of his, which I guess nobody will buy. That being said, the question which is being asked in the online forum is, okay, so why are you still a fugitive? Why don't you go back to India? To which he answered, I'm not going back to India because I'll not get a fair trial. They'll put me in prison where it's inhumane conditions. And one thing I will agree with Vijay Mallya, what he said is, in India, if you fail in business, there's no respite, there's no support from the government. You are just, put in jail and branded as a scammer, fraudster, whatever. So he'll only support you when you are having the good times. I don't know how far he's in the good books or bad books of Prime Minister Modi or the BJP, but I will agree with Vijay Mallya. One thing is, if you are not in the good books of the politicians, they can make your life miserable. But that having been said, I guess Vijay Mallya might have pissed off a couple of people, or maybe people got too greedy. Remember, alcohol was advertising his ban in India. Okay. And all the states, he admitted that he had to keep each state, the minister, happy. So he was very good at the PR exercise. But then you can't keep everyone happy all the time. So he must have made a couple of enemies. And in the end, he just concludes by saying that he would seriously consider coming back only if he was promised a fair trial, which I don't think he will. And he claims that there are still forces against him. So overall, after listening to 4 hours, 18 minutes, I thoroughly enjoyed the interview, but I felt that it was more of a PR stunt to prove that he's innocent. He's a nice guy. What I kind of got irritated with is, nowhere does he mention any of his failures. And yes, there is a very powerful moment in the interview. I booked the time also. At 2 hours, 53 minutes, Raj does ask a very powerful question, and I'm paraphrasing. He asks him, you have so much of power, you have so much of money, so much of wealth, so much of influence. Can't you clear your name? Or, having that much leverage, can't you do something? He dodges the question, which you'll notice that I forgot to mention. Vijay Mallya he constantly dodges questions where he's going to get cornered by, what do they call it? Whataboutism. Yeah, what about this? What about that? He doesn't address them. So overall, even though it's a great, entertaining podcast that I highly recommend, you can clearly make out that Vijay Mallya is not addressing and answering questions where he gets cornered. Nowhere does he mention his drawback. And one last thing is, this whole 4 hour, 18-minute podcast could have been reduced to, I think, if they did proper editing, to only 2 hours, less than 2 hours, because many times they just kept repeating themselves over and over again. So overall, I would say that, Raj, you did a fantastic job, man. Absolutely amazing. You truly deserve the 25 million views and the money that you're making out of this. Vijay Mallya, at least for me, would always be someone you can learn from. Yes, he does have his drawbacks, but for some, for normal people like us who are 99.99%, Vijay Mallya is like a handbook of wisdom. I hope he writes a book or comes out with whatever he learned, because there's a lot you can learn from it. Overall, I enjoyed it. I don't know if you have watched it. Let me know what are your thoughts in the comments below. This is me signing off. You guys take care.